Hi, it's Sandy Parker and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. So I thought tonight I would make a card with some watercolors and with this Stampendous set called Cling Hydrangea Lace Cap, which is this one, as well as a sentiment from my favorite things, and these are called All Occasion. I really love the script in those, they're gorgeous. So those are the sets we're going to be using, and I thought I'd use some Colorbox archival ink to stamp it with, and I decided to stamp the flower first, and I put the with sympathy so I knew it would fit. I cut it apart first, and this set comes with that cling on the back, that plastic, clear plastic on the back of it. And I don't know what the deal is, but when I tried to pull the clear plastic off of it, it is attaching and ripping the stamp. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it, and then I'm going to have to clean my MISTI really well when I'm done, because otherwise I'm going to have a mess. Maybe I'll just stamp, I don't know. I guess I'll just stamp it and hope for the best. So I'm going to put it as far over this way as I can get it. And then, like I said, as soon as I stamp it, I'm going to clean my MISTI, because I don't want that to be there forever. And you never know if glue is going to stay or not. It's so frustrating when things like that happen with a brand new stamp, you know? You just never know. I got that from Joann's. I don't know if they'll do anything about it or not, but there's no way you can get that rubber off with, or that plastic off, without ruining the stamp, which stinks, you know? It just makes me mad. Just saying. As I wrapped you, I'm using 140-pound watercolor paper, and I'm going to stamp it twice so I have a really good dark image, because I thought it would look nicer if I did really strong. This Colorbox ink is really inexpensive, but it is a pretty nice dark black, and I like it, so I've been using it. I got it at AC Moore. I find that they have a lot of really good deals on their stamping things. Okay, so I re-stamped the image, and now I'm going to use some Onyx Black Ink, and I'm going to use some black embossing powder, because I want to make sure that I get a good black image on this sympathy. Go on to coloring our image, and we'll be all set. I think I'm going to be using a variety of colors, and, well, a variety of brands, sorry. Prismacolors, and this is a super color from Caran. I guess that's it, just two different brands. And I'll tell you the colors before I start, because I know Rich will put this into fast forward and you'll never know what they are. So I'm using mulberry and lilac, olive green, Spanish orange, sienna brown, dark green, and the Caran is a violet, purple violet, number 100. So those are the colors, and I am going to use a Dove blender pen to liquefy my watercolor pencils, and I'm going to use a black Sharpie to fix those dots that just aren't really clean. So let's get going, and I'm going to think about my background as I go. I'll probably do something in the blue family, but I'm not really sure. And I'm going to start with darker purples toward the center of my flowers. if you do make a mistake whenever you're using watercolor pencils, you can use an eraser, but I use the blender pencil, blender pen. I just kind of scribble it off on my mat and get all the colors off of it, and then I go to where the spot is where I just showed you, and I just take my my clean blender brush, blender pen, and just go over the spot. And if you go over it a couple times, it won't ball up your paper, but don't keep going over it. You know, just try to swipe it, then clean, swipe it, then clean, you know, off onto your other paper. You want to just make sure that you're always between the times that you're trying to get the pigment off your paper, you should be cleaning your brush on the mat so that you don't contaminate the paper again with what you just took off. So what color do you think we should do in the outside? Some blue? Should I make it look like it's sky? Let's go with blue. What do you say? I think what I'm going to do is, rather than do what you expect me to do, I think I'm going to stamp my image and make a mask, and then use some watercolor or some inks and some distress inks, and make an ombre background. That's my plan. I came up with it just now. What do you think of it? Poor plan? What do you think? I don't know. This I'm going to use on, I'm just going to make my mask on this craft paper because it's too big for a, it's too big to use with a post-it note pad or post-it note sheet, and this is very thin paper, and thin is good when you're making a mask. Now let me rip the paper and I'll show you basically how to cut a mask out. I did have somebody ask me this recently. You want to, when you're doing a mask, get that out of the way. When you're doing a mask, you want to get as close to the image as you can, and actually get kind of right inside the lines, so that when you do whatever you're going to do around it, you don't end up having a big separation line. And that's key, because you don't, that's the point of a really good mask, is making sure that you don't have a separation between colors. Whoops. This off. You got the idea of it so far. You see the black around this edge? See it in there? That's how it should look when you're doing this. So here's our mask, and you want to keep a mask. If you take the time to cut one out, you want to keep it. And the next thing you want to do with it is you want to do something on the back to make it a little bit sticky. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little bit of tape runner on the back. And you don't want a ton, just a little bit, because you want to make sure it stays down, but you don't want it, I'm going to put it in a couple spots because this is so big. Whoops. I don't want it to come up in all the different spots that it could. So I'm going to touch it to make sure that I eliminate some of the sticky. Okay. And it goes like that. Okie doke. Now, let me get my colors and I'll be right back. So I've chosen Tumbled Glass, Broken China, and Salty Ocean, and I'm going to go from lightest to darkest. And I was going to just do it rubbing them on, but I'm afraid that'll be too intense. Let me try doing it with my brushes. I just bought these brushes and I wanted to practice with them anyway, So let's give them a shot. Lindsay the Frugal Crafter was talking about how those small brushes that look like barber brushes are hard to find, and she mentioned Harbor Freight and these 1-inch chip brushes. So I went to Harbor Freight and you could get 36 of them for $8. So I bought 36 of them and I'm sharing them with friends. But anyway, what I found when I did it the first time was the brush is too long for this technique. So I'm going to cut this much off, and hopefully that'll make it so that there's a little bit more control. That's my plan anyway. Okay, so that's what I'm shooting for. Of course I shot it everywhere. What else is new? I'm hoping, yeah, that ought to be a lot better. Hopefully, that's the goal. So I'm going to start again with the broken china, tumbled glass at the bottom. Tumbled glass. And I'm going lightest to darkest, and I'm going to use the same brush for all blues. So I'm going to really get my brush all inked up. Gonna go now to broken china. Last but not least is Salty Ocean. Now, I do have a little bit of gold, gold mica powder that's just kind of sitting on my paper. Well, when I was out looking for what to use my gold mica on, or with, I was going to use my glue pen. I remembered I had these Ken Oliver liquid metals that I just got, and I thought this would be kind of fun. I'm not exactly sure how to play with them, but what it says to do is you're supposed to blend them with your watercolors. So I'm going to put them on this acetate packaging. So all I'm going to do, I only have that one big drop. My goal is to put enough on each of these circles that the gold really shows. And you can't see it right now, but when I turn it in the light, I'm sure you'll be able to really see those gold highlights. And I'm going to put them in the centers of these flowers as well. For now, I think we're going to let it dry and see how it ends up. Okay, I just thought of something I think I can do that would be fun. Of course, I can't figure out what I did with my bone folder, so I'm just going to use this. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, why don't we go around the outside of this white cardstock with our leftover gold. I mean, we have it, right? And it's already out there. Why not use it? And we don't have to be really accurate because it's nobody's going to see that. It's on the. It's going. I mean, see the underneath. It's going to be the edge of the card. I need one more drop, I think. One more thing I wanted to tell you before I finished is my friend Carol Held. If you've never gone to her channel, she is a terrific artist, and she does all kinds of things from cards to mixed media to you name it, she does it. She never does any simple cards. She always does very intricate things that are just absolutely fabulous. One of the things that she's been doing, and I thought it was so smart, is she's taking some washi tape that matches her her card, so that when you have the foam in between, she has her washi tape wrapped around her foam. So I'll show you how she does that, and hopefully you'll see what a great technique it is. Here's another trick that I've learned, and that is that you can take your fun foam and pick a fun foam that matches your background too. And I mean, I could go with this, but I'm gonna wrap it like Carol does it so you can see that. And I'm gonna cut this. So here's what she does. She takes her tape, her washi tape. Let me get all the wet things out of our way. She takes her her washi tape, not her wet anything, her washi tape, and she goes right over the edge of her fun foam or her foam tape. If let's say you just like to use foam tape, not a problem. You just wrap it around the edges of it. So let me take off the backing of my tear tape and I'll be right back. So I've put our paper down and our foam with the washi tape around it, and then I'm just going to center our image over that so that when anybody looks at it, hopefully I did that okay. Yeah, when they look at the side of it, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that when they look through the side, they see gold? Isn't that cool? On the bottom, they see gold. They don't see a big white piece of foam. I thought that was a genius idea. So, Carol, thank you so much for letting me borrow it from you. And let me stamp the back of my card with my stamp. I made this for you. And then let's do our envelope. And I think on my envelope I'm going to take the gold and go around it. Oops. And there's that end. So we did 2 rows of the gold washi. And then I'm just going to take this blue and I'm going to run it right down through the center. I think it's neat when you decorate your cards. I don't know, or envelopes. There's something about knowing that whatever is coming in the mail is already not a bill because of the outside of the envelope. You know what I mean? I just think that's a cool idea. So that's why I always put washi on my envelopes so that people will see that I'm sending them something sweet and fun. So here it is. It's a watercolor with an ombre effect, and I showed you some new tools. We used the Ken Oliver liquid metals. We used that chip brush. I really recommend you going to Harbor Freight and getting the 36-pack. They're $10, but they always have a coupon for 20% off. So that took it down to $8, and then you're going to cut this much, cut off about, I don't know, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and it made it much easier to distress with or to do that. And I really liked all of the tools I played with today. I hope you enjoyed them too, and give this a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. See you later. Bye bye.